Hello, people of YouTube. In this hopefully short video, there's a lot to discuss, but in this video and in part two and part three, this is going to be a three-part series. And after I make these videos, I'm likely not going to be posting any more on my channel for probably a while. I already made so many videos on my other channel, but the other channel got deleted. But in this video, I want to talk about the truly horrific future of, super advanced, extremely advanced warfare. Recently, I watched a video that a man made, and he was talking about things that correlate with anatomy. They correlate with bioscience, and they correlate with biochemistry and physics. And this man did a somewhat deep dive video on these like visions he had. Now I know this sounds crazy, okay, but I applied his quote quote visions that he spoke about to like some formulas and some like scientific research I did. I did a little digging, and the man was talking about in this video. He was talking about like Jacob's troubles type stuff. If you don't know what that is, look it up sometime. But he was talking about drone technology. He was talking about like highly advanced drone technology with night vision, thermal cameras, motion tracking, some of the stuff that we have today on some very expensive military drones. But he was talking about people being found by technology and all sorts of strange ways, and that made me curious about how someone could be found in a place where there's no heat signature being given, even using X-ray technology. Most X-ray technology can't go more than a few, I don't know, inches or feet at most under the dirt. But this guy was talking about all sorts of very advanced drone technology. That's what this video is. It's going to be primarily centered around surveillance technology, drone technology. There's a lot to cover on just this topic alone, so I'm probably going to have two parts just for this topic. So part one will be about just to go over this very briefly. Part one will be about extremely advanced drone technology. When it comes to surveillance and hypersonic rocket engines and all that. And then part three will have to do with all sorts of other things like thermonuclear technology and neuro weapons, bioweapons, other crazy stuff that already in fact exists to a small degree today. But there was a man called we'll call him Cooper. Like Cooper, from his last name was actually Cooper. I don't wanna say too much stuff in the video because I don't know who will end up watching it, right? But there was a program created by NASA way back in the day, and they used something called gamma, I believe it was gamma ray spectroscopy, which is like a fancy term for detection of heavy metals. But basically, this advanced spectroscopy technology was used. It was like attached to a capsule or whatever, and it would send signals down to Earth, and then the signals would if they would hit like a metal object, the signal would bounce back up to the capsule. And that's how a lot of these silos, these underground missile silos, were being found. Now, by the way, the NASA and the military they weren't detecting silos that were being built. They weren't finding these silos based off of what they could see, using like super zoomed in cameras. Which, by the way, even back then, NASA had some like really advanced cameras that could zoom super far in. But besides that, they used a special kind of radio signal. Well, it wasn't technically radio; it was something else. But to put it simply, they used this radio-like technology to detect metal. They were using this tech to find steel, like steel or iron used to make these silos underground in Russia back in the 60s, and even in the 60s, back in the 60s and in the 70s. But I think primarily around the 70s is when they really made the technology like what's the word, foolproof, or that's when the the tech reached its peak. And so they were able to find metal objects underground by using this highly advanced, surveillance technology, which I believe is probably still used today, but it's just used in satellites. They don't use it on drones because if a drone crash landed and a foreign enemy got their hand on such a incredibly valuable technology, that would be a very big problem, obviously. But they're used, I believe they're still used in like space drones and satellites, and that's right, space drones are a thing. Um, they primarily use gravity to function. You can only have so much fuel in a tiny little drone, but basically there's a atmosphere, not high altitude, like how would I word it? Like low space orbit drones that use gravity to reach the atmosphere. They don't really use them, not yet, but the military has some sort of like space drone applications, like they're just like sitting up there in space or whatever. I think they are sometimes repaired by astronauts. I don't know, but they're up there in space. There's like space drones. You have those drones I talked about with the gamma ray spectroscopy technology. But those were mainly used in manned capsules back in the 70s, I think. And then on top of that, they have drones, believe it or not, that are so advanced that they could see a license plate number on the back of your car from very high altitude. As long as the clouds are not in the way, as long as the sky is clear, a drone that's literally like 100,000 feet in the air could see the numbers on your license plate. That technology, by the way, does exist. This is not a conspiracy. This is a real technology. It does exist, and it is being used quite often these days, as far as I'm aware. The technology is real, and it's being used right now. You wonder how so many things are found, in the most like secluded spaces, by the military. It's not just with regular camera technology. They have all sorts of crazy things they use. But besides those, so they have super zoom cameras, spectroscopy technology that's really advanced, space drones, and then on top of that they have X-ray. They have like X-ray goggles. I'm talking not like those fake ones that are like the HUD display ones in like the F-22 or F-35 fighter jets. I'm talking like real X-ray technology that's like far superior to the stuff back in the old days. They have it's extremely expensive. X-ray technology is extremely expensive because you need like, what is it, thallium or thorium or some really expensive material and complicated software in order to make such technology. I haven't studied it, but as far as I'm aware, there is a lot of really advanced X-ray technology that's coming out, and and I know that some militaries use this, but X-ray technology is a little bit tricky. You can't use it at long distance. You can't really use it on like high altitude drones. So it would have to be equipped on like small little drones that you could like put right up next to like a solid surface in order to see through it. But they have like those little like snake cameras or whatever, or like those ground troop goggles that use X-ray, but those are like still classified. Like those are still technically, you know, quote quote, don't exist. They technically don't exist, but I mean, it's just used by like the most elite like spec ops and stuff. But the X-ray technology is getting a lot better too. But anyway, I've reached the 10-minute mark. So in the next video, I will talk about hypersonic missile technology, and that's going to be pretty interesting. So yeah, check that video out when I post it.